Hello Stinks and welcome to episode 21 of Minecraft Through the Spyglass. Last episode we built up our base for the 1.4 update, and in this episode we're going to explore the new items 1.4 has to offer, along with the unobtainables we can get. So sit back and relax while we play some old school Minecraft. So I'm down here in the Unobtainable Museum, and I have updated to 12W41A. This is the first unobtainable snapshot that we need to be in for 1.4. I've also noticed that whenever I updated, my statistics have been reset along with my achievements. So I think I'm going to do some research on these two things being reset every time that you update. I don't know if it's a problem with me, so I'll have to look into it. But for now, I just will be not doing the achievements and not really worrying about my statistics. It's a little sad, but I know eventually it'll stop happening. So now I need to create an anvil for our first unobtainable of this episode. This is a different recipe than what you would normally use. Normally it would have 3 iron ingots at the bottom here, but when they were first introduced, it was 6 iron blocks and then 1 iron ingot in the middle. Pretty expensive. Over here I have a chest full of stuff. These are just blocks that I picked out that I thought would be cool for this. Nothing specific. It's just things that I think would look cool. So let me go ahead and grab some now. In this version, you could place a block into the anvil, remove all the text, and basically rename the item to have no name. So here's our first one. And I'm just going to repeat this for all the things that we have in this chest. I saw that that took 5 levels, so that means we need 5 levels for all 27 of these, which is at least 100 plus levels. So what I'm going to probably do is set this stuff up over at my pig farm and rename over there using the anvil and the levels that I can get. So like I said, my statistics did get reset, so you know that from the beginning of this episode until now, I have killed about 1,500 things, and that's probably all pigs. So I got enough XP to rename all the items that I could think of that would be cool to rename. And so now I'm back at the Unobtainable Museum to put these things up. Fun fact, the anvil broke on the last one that I renamed, which means that you can use an anvil 27 different times. So now I'm just gonna go ahead and put these up. So I did a block of diamond, a block of gold, an iron block, a block of lapis lazuli. Then I did a spawner,
a bookshelf, an end portal frame, a pumpkin head, a cactus, brick, chest, stone, then a diamond ore,
and a stick. These are just like the main blocks that I thought would be cool to make nameless. There's nothing specific about them. It's just what I thought would be kind of interesting to see have no names. For our next item, we will essentially be doing the same thing here, except instead of using those levels to rename items, we'll be using those levels to get enchantment books. Essentially, we have all the same ones that we have in today's Minecraft, except missing a few, of course. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and grab 27 books from our storage, and hopefully we get 27 different enchantments, but more than likely we will probably not. We'll probably get a bunch of duplicates, but the enchantments don't really matter that much. There's ones like respiration and aqua affinity, and we won't be using these to put on our armor or tools, but instead we will be using them for something else, which I will show you once I have these books ready to go. So here I have 3 books and 3 items, and in no specific order I'm going to put the enchantments on these blocks and then add them to the chests that I've already put in the museum, filled with other items that are enchanted, blocks and items that are enchanted. Some of them are a little funny, some of them are just random. Like I did Unbreaking 1 on a diamond because diamonds are known to be really hardy. And then the dead bush, I put protection from 1 on it because I don't know if any of you will know, but there's an episode on Adventure Time where he uses a bush to travel through some water with eels in it, so I thought it'd be funny to do that. And some of these are just because they look pretty. Like the snow block, I think any of them that have green or white really show up nice. We did obsidian. I also tried to do things that we didn't do in the no name items, so a lot of the no name is blocks and a few items, and then with the enchantment it's mostly items and a few blocks. So for now this is what I have. I don't know if I'm going to do more. In a perfect world I would want to do every single item that is available to me in the game right now, but each enchantment book costs at least 3 levels, and then to put them on the item costs 2 levels, along with the damaging of the anvil, which is really rapid in these versions. I don't even think I could get 15 with 1 anvil. I don't think I'll do too many more if I do any, but I'm pretty happy with the ones that we have. I think it's fun. I especially love the redstone torch. We have an arrow with projectile protection, which is funny. So I don't know, I just really like these. I really like the glass one too. So yeah, this is a pretty cool unobtainable that we have in our museum, and if I were to place one of these blocks down and then pick them back up, like if I placed it down and then mined it back up, it does lose its enchantment, so these aren't going to be able to be placed. I was really hoping that maybe I could put them down and you would be able to see the enchantment glimmer on them, but the only thing I can do is add them to item frames. So I couldn't resist, and I went ahead and made some more enchanted items to fill up the rest of the double chest. That way it's at least an even full double chest worth of enchanted items. Like I said previously, I wish this was every item and block in the game enchanted, but that would just take far too long and I do not have the patience for it. So some notable ones are the enchantment table. We went ahead and enchanted a chest, a monster spawner, a regular apple, a music disc. I'm curious to see what happens if I put this music disc inside of a jukebox. I wonder if it's going to take away the enchantment or not. So with that, that is all the unobtainables that we can collect in 1.4, which means I've went ahead and moved to the last update of 1.4, which is 1.4.7. And we're going to go ahead and start collecting all of the things that 1.4 brought, like the flower pot, the anvil, the stuff like that. And I think I'm going to start by locating a nether fortress and getting some wither skulls so we can eventually beat the wither and get ourselves the first beacon of this world. So I found myself a nether bridge that has quite a few crossroads, which I know in newer versions is a pretty popular place for wither skeletons to spawn. I'm not sure if that's how it is in these versions, but now I'm just going to spend some time here doing the usual thing of running around, finding wither skeletons, killing them, and hoping that I can get myself a wither skull. So I'll be back once I get one, I guess. So I hadn't even realized, but on one of the last 3 that I killed, I actually got one, and I probably didn't notice because the texture for it is not 3D. When you place it, it is, but in your hotbar or inventory and on the ground, as you can see, it is pretty flat. So after collecting my first one, I went ahead and put that up in the museum, and then I spent some time collecting 3 more wither skeleton skulls in order to create our first wither. And it took me quite some time to get the 3 that I have. As you can see, I've killed about 4,892 mobs. The most difficult part of it was actually getting the mobs to spawn, getting the wither skeletons to spawn. It would take quite some time because I would walk away from it and come back and walk away from it and come back. But now that I've got it done, I'm going to go ahead and fight our first wither here, and hopefully it all goes well. I do have it set up underneath the 1.4 base, just in case, because I don't want anything to get broken. So here we go. Now, as many of you probably already know, the tunnel bore method of fighting the wither is actually really popular and is usually relatively easy and safe. I've done it many times before, no problem, and I figured this time would be no different. Unfortunately, I was wrong. Like, severely wrong. In this version, sometimes mobs fall through solid blocks and glitch back up to the top. I think this, with a mix of the wither's first AI, made it extremely difficult to find its hitbox. So only like 40% of my sword swings actually did damage. Not to mention, I didn't remember I had set the difficulty to hard when gathering the wither skulls and never changed it back. So anytime I was hit with a wither effect, it was guaranteed death because even golden apples wouldn't stop the effects from taking all my hearts. I even went as far to use my feather falling diamond armor, as it's the only diamond armor I have to try and beat this thing. And just like that, we defeated it. Easiest fight of my life. Wasn't even worried. Didn't even take any time. Super calm, super relaxing. Now we can use this nether star to create our first beacon of the world using obsidian and glass. I'm gonna make that quickly and then get I already got the iron. I spent some time in between collecting wither skulls, strip mining, because I knew I wanted to go ahead and make a fully powered beacon. And I hope I got the recipe correct here. Should be 3 obsidian on bottom, the nether star in the middle, and the glass on top. And then we can use this to start carving out the unobtained museum. Now I assume that this still works essentially the same as in newer versions where the radius for the effect isn't very wide. So we're just gonna do it right here in the center. I'm gonna go 2 up so I can still access the stairs here. And it's gonna be 1, 2, 3, 4. I really want to put this at the bottom of the museum, but I don't think the height will reach. So just to be sure that this actually does reach, we're gonna put it right here and see how effective it is. And now the beacon on top. And our first ever beacon stream. Now I thought this was interesting, like how different the symbols are for this. So we have it's the same as what we have nowadays. It's speed, haste, resistance, jump boost, and strength. And then of course regeneration. We're gonna go with haste and then haste 2. Do we not get any? Oh, there it is. So now let me go to the edge and see if it still counts even over here. I have a feeling it won't. Oh, it does. Okay, now let's see how low we can go before it stops working as well. Alright, so it starts working at Y24 and the beacon is 60 and the actual beacon is at 64. So not bad. Now we get to see how much this actually changes how fast we are. The only thing I have is efficiency 3, unfortunately, and it's like pretty fast. It's not like insta-mine as I would like it to be, but it's pretty fast. So now I will do, we'll say like an hour's worth of digging out this. And of course, I think the best way to do this is going to be a time lapse. So let's just jump into it. And that was an hour worth of mining. It was literally about 1 layer. Of course, it was a little bit less than an hour, and it completely destroyed my shovel. So that's why this progress is very slow and taunting, and why it hasn't really been moving, and kind of one of those background things where it's something that I have to do whenever I want to just turn off my brain. So it's going to be like that for a little while longer. Right now, I am just working on redecorating and removing unnecessary stuff from the unobtainable museum and kind of placing things down. I did want to show you guys one of the older unobtainables that we got is finally working now, because we can see the durability of an item, and that is our negative durability golden hoe, one of the first things that we collected in this series, which is pretty cool. So I have to get this gold hoe down to 0 durability. Okay. Our first unobtainable. Our first one. Other than that, I have just been kind of spacing every unobtainable out here and just kind of placing them around and kind of editing how this place looks. But I think with that is going to go ahead and wrap up this episode. And I want to thank you guys so much for watching. I will catch you in the next one. Goodbye.